Hi again.
Hello.
Great job on the first session. That was really good.
Thank you. Nice. I'm glad to hear that. Here we are again.
Yes. As you can
Second
see,
round.
it's getting darker and darker.
Awesome. Getting people in. How about you got a product designer watching? There's Tina has joined and she's a product designer.
Yes, we are hiring.
Just put it out there now. Feel free to grab water, go to the bathroom or anything if you need to. We still have 6 minutes. Hey, friends. Danilo, what prompted the company growth? That's a lot of people to hire.
Yeah, we have very ambitious plans. These are now projections. Yeah.
Oh,
so,
wow. Okay.
This is just based on our expected growth for 2021 and to sustain our pipeline and our business in the future. Definitely, it's a lot of people, but I mean, not all of them are in Canada. We'll be expanding a lot our Asia Pacific team this year, especially because there's a lot of new opportunities and activities down there. But the hub is here in Vancouver, so I would say I'm pretty sure that the majority of people might be based here in Vancouver, even though we know that we are moving towards a more remote type of work, right?
True. Yeah.
And so definitely COVID is changing the way we might approach location for hiring. I would say until before COVID, we were really trying to hire as much as possible people to cooperate in certain regions and stay together. This year some things might change, and I would say that we are definitely more open than we were before in terms of doing remote work. And even internally, we recently ran a survey, and a lot of people, they are expecting to just work in the office just a few days per week. So we are revisiting our office space, and probably will be redesigning and having more collaborative spaces, etc., just based on that. On average, the responses we receive, the majority of our employees, they are interested in working in the office twice or 3 times per week. So yeah.
Awesome. I think we can get started. Tina, Martina, and Shahid, if you want to turn on your cameras, feel free to. We're such a small group now that it would be nice to see your faces too. So just to get started, I'm Nagar. I'm the moderator. And please feel free at any point to pop your questions in the chat. We're more than happy to stop and answer any questions if anything comes up. And again, if you want to turn on your video, feel free to as well. It's lovely having you here. So just to get started, we have Danilo and Eva with us from Copperleaf. So if you guys can tell us a little bit about yourself and your roles at Copperleaf.
Absolutely. Thank you, Nagar. My name is Danilo Prates. I am a product innovator and product manager at Copperleaf. And I've been mainly driving machine learning and artificial intelligence initiatives within the organization. And I'm the type of person that is a little bit different from the typical product manager role, because I get involved in the early stage process of discovery and developing prototypes, validating with clients in a way that we can make sure that prior to effectively allocating development resources for productizing something, we have a very well valued and consolidated initiative that definitely will increase, let's say, our value for the 3 to 5 years run in a more long-term perspective. Eva.
Great, and I am Eva Lee. I'm the product owner at Copperleaf. I think I was with Copperleaf maybe 2-3 years ago, and before that, I was actually working as a UX designer. And then I have moved into product management. I would say I'm also in a unique position because I work with the CTO, who is the acting product manager for our team. So I would say, it's a bit unique. But I'm hoping, since we have a really small group, we could keep this more interactive. So feel free, if you want to share your screen or ask a question, you can use the chat or your audio as well. We can make it a private session.
I think I spoke too soon. I don't think everyone can share their video and audio.
Oh, it's all right. Oops.
I think it's just us 3. If you hover over the screen and see at the top right, if you can, but maybe it is just us 3 that are enabled to do it. Okay, so Danilo does have a great presentation. So if you can just tell us a little bit about Copperleaf and what Copperleaf does.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, we've put together some slides, so please feel free to add questions to the chat. We want to make this session as interactive as possible. So these slides will be probably coming on demand. But just to get started, let's talk a little bit about Copperleaf, who we are. And as we are speaking about product, nothing better than starting with our product vision. And this is obviously also the company vision because we are a product company. And our vision is transforming how the world sees value. Our solution is enables organizations to make better decisions and maximize their values. We position ourselves as a decision analytics solution, and we have a very unique approach to value where we take into consideration not only, let's say, financial aspects, but also, let's say, non-financial aspects, such as risks that potentially could be mitigated, climate risks, environmental risks, safety risks, and we transform all this into a common economic scale that allows you to make better decisions that will maximize the overall value to the organization. And what I mean, again, by value is not the financial value only, but taking into consideration all these different components that are driven from the strategic objectives from those organizations. We are a global company. We are based here in Vancouver, BC, but we already have clients all across the globe in the 5 continents. And here in BC, we have the government of British Columbia, Fortis BC, and BC Hydro as our clients. And we are very proud to say that we have around 1.4 trillion assets in dollars, and this is in US dollars, managed worldwide. In terms of company performance and results, we have been receiving a lot of recognition for our success. Just wanted to highlight some of them, especially those from 2020. And this is something that we were pursuing for a while, and we are very happy, which is the 2020 Tech Culture of the Year. We have been also being recognizing as one of the top growing companies, not only in BC but also in Canada. And we have a very strong co-op program as well. We receive a lot of co-ops from SFU and UBC, and a lot of them actually they become Copperleaf employees. So this is also something to highlight here. Since 2016, we have been recognized as one of the best employers for recent graduates as well. Okay. To better understand who Copperleaf is, I think it's also good to explain a little bit about our timeline and our history. We started as a consulting company, consulting to energy utilities. We initially were working directly with BC Hydro. And at that time, it's hard to say that we were a product company. We're mainly like a consulting company where we were, providing service. We had a kind of a software in there, but it's still, not a real product. It was more, on demand. After that, we went through 2 rounds of financing. In 2008, we had our new CEO and, a brand new team onboarding into Copperleaf. And this made us to effectively come up with a real product. And this product was initially named C55. Just keep this in mind because things were recently changed. In terms of sectors, we have clients in all these sectors: electric, transmission, distribution, gas, water, government, oil and gas, transportation sector. Definitely there's a lot of opportunities in other markets that we are pursuing and seeing how we can better message and how our solution would fit into these new markets. And from a global perspective, our initial clients, they were only here in Canada and in the States. So usually in North America, this was until, let's say, 2015. And since 2015, we really started our global expansion, starting with Australia, client in Latin America, Japan and Germany, New Zealand, Denmark, and more recently Belgium and Spain. And I'm sorry, I just did one more click here by accident. From a product perspective, as I've mentioned, our initial product name was C55, and I mean was because now starting 2021, we just did a total product rebrand, and we decided to split C55 into two products. So now we have Copperleaf Asset and Copperleaf Portfolio. They're now complementing Copperleaf Value that was already launched as a new product in 2018. So this is a little bit of who we are, history, and I'm just open now for more questions.
Thank you. That's a very expansive history. Do you know that you might not know this, but do you know when you started adopting a product team or a product focus?
Yeah, that's a very good question. As I said, I think we started to see ourselves as a product company since 2008, 2010. Obviously, the initial product management team was mainly, the CTO with some VPs in the organization at that time. Officially, we opened for a product management manager position in 2017. That was the first time that we had officially the role of a product manager. And obviously this product manager was the product manager for the whole C55 suite level. And things, they changed over time. But we always had the concept of, let's say, a product owner, right? And this, I would say, existed since 2012, 2013. So since the very early stages of the organization, we had this concept of a product owner. But what we now call product manager only started in 2017. Yeah.
Okay. And how is the product team currently structured or organized?
Okay. Right. So I think that now I can go to the other slide and explain a little bit more about our employee breakdown and how we are structured. As you can see here, we consider ourselves as a software company and as a product company. 50% of our employees, they are within the product development area of the organization. And within product development, obviously, we have product, right? And within product, I would say we do have a Copperleaf Portfolio product team that has one product manager and actually more than one product owner. We do have a product manager for Copperleaf Asset. And as Eva mentioned in the beginning of the session, we have the CTO actually acting as the product manager for Copperleaf Value and Value Frameworks. But this is something that might be changing soon, we believe. And as our clients, they are very large organizations and they always want to have some level of customization in this solution. We have, let's say, this is a director level here, which is responsible for having the customer deliveries and running some customizations and extensions as well. So this is, kind of a director level. We also have a director for design and design system. And we have a product management director that is responsible for, the three main products that we have. So in a very high level picture, this is how we are structured in Copperleaf.
That's amazing that 50% is product development. And how do you collaborate with the product development team and the rest of the organization?
Yeah, that's a very good question. As you can see here, usually let's say it's up to the product managers to bridge with all the other areas, including sales and marketing, customer experience, even hearing and gathering inputs from the clients, which is also a key component here. But from, let's say, a more software development standpoint, we follow the concept of the triad, right? Where we want to really to encourage and empower teams to work collaboratively using these three types of, I would say, skill sets. I wouldn't say that these are even roles, but skill sets. Engineering, design, and product. Eva, do you want to elaborate more on that?
Sure, but yeah, I guess maybe it's not really something new for many of you, but we are hoping to bring in engineer, designer, a product person. It could be a product owner, a manager, to basically at the table with the customer to get the direct feedback whenever they kick off a project or need to get feedback on the work that they are currently implementing. In the past, it's been a bit of waterfall style where usually the PM or PO interact with the customers, and then they kind of just take the requirements and push it down to the development team. Here's the solution already. So we want to change that mindset and the culture and really want to push this model of having a triad so that the engineers and designers, they get firsthand customer feedback to build that empathy. It's been a challenge, I would say, in what we do because we are building software for enterprise software. So we're not B2C company where we can reach out to a user very easily or have very cool data analytics to like Pando just pop out like a survey in the app. That's not something we could leverage very easily because of security concerns and also our contracting issue as well. So, but we're pushing this model so that we can actually shorten the feedback loop a little. That's something definitely we are pushing forward to forming a stronger, I guess what we call the product-centric team. But you could see from the timeline Danilo shared, we only started really 2017, try to start our product team, and now at the place where we're scaling, our team's growing bigger and bigger. We have a lot of product managers and product owners now. So now is the time where we want to work on, I guess, the mindset and the culture.
That's really great. We've been talking a lot about product manager and product owner. Does each triad have both, and what is the difference between the roles?
That's a very good question. I have a hidden slide here that might help to answer this. Actually, there are two hidden slides here. One of them is this one, where we want the product manager more to be, let's say, market facing, and the product owner to be more client facing, right? So obviously, when you think in terms of discovery delivery, this doesn't happen, once we do the discovery and then the delivery. Actually, we in Copperleaf, we already identified that there are clearly three different stages. In a very, very early stage, like you have an idea and you do a very simple evaluation of this idea, trying to understand how much or how impactful this would be, right? Once we believe that this is a good idea, we run a second stage of discovery. And usually, actually, this is the stage that I get more involved too, where we really wanted to go deeper and do a proper, understanding of this need, prototype something, validate with existing clients or even, with the market, and have a better, let's say, idea of how feasible, how valuable this would be for not only for, let's say, the market or the clients, but also for Copperleaf. Once we decide to effectively, let's say, productize this, we have the third phase of discovery delivery, and now is when we are effectively building what we need to build. And this is when usually, let's say, now we have, let's say, the product owners collaborating with designers and engineers, and they are iterating really fast to effectively productize this until we have a commercial launch of this feature or of this product, right? So we decided to have these clear, let's say, stage gates But usually the product manager is involved in a, let's say, more market facing stage, and the product owner is more, let's say, client facing. This is a high level, let's say, distinction that we make in terms of attributions for product managers and product owners within Copperleaf. Yeah. After very, very long discussions.
And it's still
I love
changing.
this diagram.
That we are constantly revisiting and challenging.
Yeah. Tina, I see your question. I'm going to get to it because that actually goes along the timeline that Danilo was just talking about, but I want to start at the beginning of the timeline. How do you go about learning about the customer needs? How do you do that discovery?
Okay, the main inputs. Yeah, I think this slide fits very well to answer to this question. Here in Copperleaf, there is something we have been leveraging since the beginning, and we believe that it's really, really helpful to have a strong community. So we collaborate with this community mainly through these three different ways. One of them is what we call the Copperleaf Labs, which is a kind of a program where for any of these discoveries or any of these initiatives, or even when we are building a specific feature, we always want to have clients involved in providing us feedback and validating and interacting with us. So for each one of these, let's say, initiatives that are part of the Copperleaf Labs, we ask clients if they're interested in contributing and participating and even partnering with us in building those solutions. We also have the Copperleaf Summit that runs every year, usually in May. Until, let's say, last year, the event was always based here in Vancouver in presence. And on average, we had like 130, 150 people. And last year, we went fully remote because of COVID. But still, we had an excellent engagement. Actually, we had almost 400 people attending the event. It was a tremendous success. And in this event, obviously, there are presentations from Copperleaf, but mainly we wanted to leverage presentations from the community so they can share experiences and best practices, and they can learn from each other. And this is also a great way for us to understand what their needs are and what are their main pain points, etc. And there is also a survey that we run every year where we wanted to understand the top community needs and identify, the commonalities and what are the biggest challenges that they are facing in a way that we can put more effort for addressing them. So I would say these are the three main mechanisms that we use for receiving inputs from the community.
That's really great that you have all the.
Yeah,
sorry,
so
go ahead.
Following Tina's question, how we gauge the success of products. So yeah, this is a great way. Getting customer feedback is definitely one of the great ways that we try to get there. And another thing I'd like to mention is we also been rolling out the OKR framework, the objective and key results. So that's also embedded in our design process, where before we go out and kind of design or talk about anything, we want to set out like what's the outcomes that we want to achieve. And that has been really helpful when we get into like, the discussion about very, very granular detail. You can actually refer back to the key results that you set out as like, does it actually matter? Is this actually important? That also help us to prioritize features later. And after we implement it, we can kind of refer back to the OKR. Did we actually achieve the outcomes that we have set out? And that's been rolled out from an organization level for the entire product development, teams, where each team has their own OKR. But for our company, we also have our own OKR. So it's kind of like you can see they work hand in hand as all the OKRs are stitched together. But at the team level, they understand what they need to achieve as a team.
Yeah. I just wanted to elaborate a little bit more as well in terms of what success really means for us, because obviously there are many different ways we can track or we can measure success. For a new product, I would say that success means we sold it, right? we were able to effectively sell this new feature, this new product to clients. And obviously, growth also is a measure of success. Another thing that we are very, very proud of is that we have 100% client retention, which means that every organization that purchased any of Copperleaf products they are still our clients, which is, I'd say, fantastic. Um, and how do we keep track or measure client retention or success? We started last year. It actually was the first time that we ever run an NPS survey. I do not know how familiar you are with NPS, but NPS is Net Promoter Score. And basically, it's a kind of a survey that we run with your community just to see how they feel about different aspects, how they feel about the company, how they feel about the community, how they feel about the product, how they feel about the services. Yeah, I would say that the results were very, very positive. So I just wanted to mention that success is not only one single factor. Success we measure through lots of different ways. And as part of our product strategy, we believe that two things are really key to us. One of them is growth. We wanted to keep and sustain our growth. And the second one, we really wanted to keep our client retention and making sure that they are happy and they're feeling happy with what we are providing to them. Yeah.
That's awesome. So now that you have, with your Copperleaf community, you have all of this feedback, how do you make the decision on what to build and what not to build?
Let me see if I do have a slide here to better clarify that. Yeah, I think this fits well as well. Okay, Eva, I'll leave this one for you. Yeah.
Sure thing. I've always thought this is a fun slide because I think many of us resonate with it, where there are a lot of different requests coming from different stakeholders. Sometimes it's really hard to compare, tech debt versus a usability issue, and then you go all the way to cybersecurity, compliance, or even a marketing standpoint of view to talk about brand value. So at Copperleaf, we have a methodology called value framework that's developed in Copperleaf, and we've been kind of having this dog feeding situation. We adopt our own solution. What it is really is that value framework helps our clients to basically to look at all different consideration. Because for our clients, they might be looking at risk, they might be looking at shareholder value, all different aspects. But this value framework brings all different consideration on a common economic scale. What that means is that you can actually compare all these different aspects and convert them into a dollar value. So it's much easier, I guess, when you have to get consensus in a group or talk to your stakeholders, that you can communicate why certain things are more important than the other. And underneath the hood is like pretty complex math in my point of view. So, but internally we've been using the value framework as well. So how we basically execute this value framework, we currently are using AHA as the temporary place, where basically you can think of it as a very complex scoring system in AHA where we can score different ideas. But eventually we are working on moving into our own product, which is the Copperleaf portfolio, where we'll use our product to store all these ideas, opportunities, and use it to basically to evaluate all different opportunities and see which one actually returns the maximum value. And putting scoring aside, scoring isn't the only thing that we are going to be considering. Something I found it very useful is by going through this exercise of scoring, it really forces you to like talk to different people, because you need to find answer in order to answer that kind of scoring system. So that from that process, you actually learn a lot and also validate a lot of your assumptions. So that's basically at a high level how we decide what to build and what not to build.
Thank you. That's really good. I like putting a dollar value to the contributions to see what is actually valuable to customers. We do only have 1 more minute left. So if anybody has any last minute questions, please pop them in the chat now. But I just want to say thank you everyone for joining us, even though anyone that joined us last minute. And thank you, Danilo and Eva, for sharing about Copperleaf and how you do product. Any last minute questions? All good. Sorry, Danilo, were you going to say something? I interrupted you.
Just thanks for having us. Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. You can head on over to the panel Q&A in sessions now. Bye.